Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
We are back with our certified yoga therapist and friend, Blair Douglas from Malachite Yoga. She joins us live on the Zoomcast and podcast once again today. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Jill?
I'm doing great. I like your hair. Is it straighter today? What did you do different?
Maybe it's a little straighter. It's just gotten so long. I'm about to have it cut because it's getting a little unruly. But yes, it's a little straighter, even though we actually have some humidity today in Denver.
It looks good. All right.
Thank
People are
you.
like, but yeah, we're on the Zoomcast too. In case you're on the podcast, that she's from Denver, Colorado. Tell us a little bit about what Malachite Yoga is all about. And by the way, as we continue the conversation today, we're opening up the phone line. So please call in 631-307-4010, 631. That's 307-4010 if you do have any questions as we continue. So please introduce yourself to everyone, Blair.
Yeah, like Jill said, my name is Blair Douglas. I own Malachite Yoga, which basically is a collective. It's an online platform, so I don't have a brick and mortar. Majority of my clients are actually all virtual. So I see people all throughout the US, Canada, and other countries. And I work as a certified yoga therapist. What that means is I have a higher qualification in the sense of I have a therapy title. So that's not something I just gave to myself. There's a whole programming and education and school that we all attend to become certified yoga therapists. And kind of what I tell a lot of people is what you think of yoga when you think of going to like a traditional yoga class, throw that out the window for a moment. And just think of it as a way of seeing a therapist to help support you in whatever your goals are. For me specifically, my clientele is working with people with chronic pain, neurological disorders, and mobility disorders. And so I see them as a whole person. So when you show up, you need no background in yoga at all. You can almost treat it like I'm yoga and we're going to have a therapeutic session together. And all of my skills and stuff that I know will help us build a program that'll best work for you as an individual. So everything is customized to that person.
Oh, wonderful. And just to ask, some people may not even be familiar with the term. I just start them off basic as a certified yoga therapist? And we're talking about mobility issues. What are some of the other things that you can help with?
Yeah. So, like I was saying, like one of my specialties is chronic pain, neurological disorders. And the way I kind of talk to people about it as well is that I still tell people you see your psychotherapist, you see your normal doctor. If you're seeing a PT, you keep seeing them. But if you feel like something is missing and, trying to bridge that gap, especially when it comes to chronic pain, there is so much information out there, but also not a lot of knowledge. And it's hard to meet with somebody that actually deals with all of it in the sense of what's happening emotionally for you, plus the physical and the other dynamics of you as a person. Because as you and I well know, we're all very unique individuals. So what defines you isn't your one thing that you have going on. It's multitudes and multitudes of things. So having the opportunity to be seen by a person that will see you for all those things, and we can custom build each session even based on how you show up that day. So if you're having a good day, not having a good day, we need to modify and change based on stuff like that. All of that is open because we work together. I'm not there to fix somebody. I'm there to support them and be part of their team.
Got it. And by the way, how do we reach you?
You can reach me anytime at malachiteyoga.com. That's Malachite yoga.com. Sometimes my dyslexia gets the best of me when I'm spelling those out loud. So just like the stone malachite, so it's a bright green stone. That's where you'll find my company. You can find my email there. And I always do free 15-minute consultations. So anybody that's ever interested can reach out to me and just send me an email and we'll set up a time to meet, just because sometimes you never know if it's a good fit. And so that's another thing to take into how you feel about it. But also I try to open the door to people of, like I said before, you don't need a knowledge of yoga to work with a yoga therapist specifically on anything you have going on. And like I said, I have specialties, but other yoga therapists specialize in like depression or anxiety or eating disorders or cancer. There's a whole plethora of us out there. And you can also find people on the international site for yoga therapists.
Got it. Well, thank you again. And again, the lines are open 631-307-4010. That's 631-370-4017. If you have any questions as she continues the conversation, we are here.
Yeah.
Just making sure they're on. Good.
They're all on.
Go ahead. I'm like making sure. Good.
Of course. Yeah. So some of the other things I get asked a lot too is, what does even a session look like with a yoga therapist, especially because I'm working a lot of the times, not to say I don't work with people in person, I actually do. I'm in Denver half the year and in Tucson, Arizona the other half, because I don't like cold very much. And so we have figured out a lifestyle where we can be in both. But for the most part, I meet with virtual clients. So as long as somebody has access to a computer, typically, or even their phone, we can do calls through that. And I've sometimes even done just actual calls, because technology is not something that's Zoom and other things is overwhelming to some of my older clients. So we just do a call sometimes to do a check-in when I can't see them in person. But what that means is we have a meeting, almost like you were seeing a psychotherapist too. And a lot of times, if I am going to give somebody, let's say a practice, like a physical practice, so where they're actually going to find movement, is we'll do it together on a recording. So I will record myself practicing, they'll practice with me. And then that short recording gets sent to my clients each week, so they have it to practice with throughout the week. The other part that comes along with that, and that I like to tell people too, is I also have clients that I never get on a mat with. And I think that's something that sometimes people are a little shocked by somewhat, because the second they hear yoga, they put into association like a yoga mat and people doing like handstands and other things. So like I said before, throwing some of that idea out the window, but there is clients I have who are older, right? And we don't really need a mat to do what we're doing. Some of it is a breath practice. Some of it's awareness of thought. And I know in the last few weeks, what we've been talking about is, some of the chronic pain stuff and some of those pillars of how we can change that pain. So sometimes it is just me working with somebody about their thoughts and what that is bringing up in the sense of chronic pain, or is causing maybe a shift in how comfortable they are. And if we change those thoughts, what happens, or the body tension or the breath, some of those key things. And my background and knowledge is in that stuff, but it's very much supported by science and research via also my instructors and teachers, that you keep learning. So no matter, just like if there's a doctor you were saying, they constantly keep learning new sciences, because we want to be the most up to date on information. And it's not the Stone Age, right? We have technology, but there's also stuff that can be taken with a grain of salt. So I tell my clients a lot, before you go do something new, let's talk about it first, because once in a while, right, we can go down a path where we Googled something and all of a sudden it's like, you should never eat oatmeal because it will kill you. There's these things that come up that I like to try to help navigate slightly. And if I can't navigate it, I always suggest out, because yoga therapy is a complementary medicine. So that means talking to your normal doc, talking to your psychotherapist, your PT, if you're seeing those people, and I think I don't have the answer for you, or I don't have the research background in that, I always suggest to people, how can we set up a call or a time to meet with one of your other professional team for your healthcare stuff? Hopefully that kind of makes some sense, just because it's really hard to tell people. Sometimes they're like, what is each session going to look like? And I can't totally tell them. I can give them ideas, but it's 100% based off you. So Jill, if you showed up to one of my sessions, if we had a session together, right, it wouldn't be like my sessions with my 80-year-old client, because you're having a totally different thing go on that goals we're working towards in comparison to her. So that's where it kind of shifts a lot more than people realize as well. It's not cut and dry.
Something happened to my camera. There you go.
Oh, there you are.
Thank you.
I was wondering. I was like, did I lose?
No, that happened last week a few times, and it was like, is it haunted? I'm like, no, I don't know what it is. Oh, hold on, we got a call coming in. Hold on. Hi, welcome to the show. You are live on the line with Malachite Yoga. Who's this?
Hi, my name's Anna. How are you?
Hi, Anna. You're live on the line, just so you can hear me. With Blair Douglas. Do you have a question for her?
Yes. So, actually, I wanted to ask, how can you help someone that suffers from chronic pain from like lower back from having a slip disc?
Okay. Yeah. So what can happen is we have to, the way like yoga therapists that specialize in chronic pain think about pain is you might have an area, and it could be from an injury that happened before, right? So like you were just saying, Anna, a slip disc. What we work with is getting your nervous system and other systems like your endocrine system, your hormonal systems to start giving correct feedback to the brain. So our brain is what's kind of triggered. So when we're having pain, the brain is getting information. It's then sending the signal back down and saying, hey, I want you to stop. So one of the things that I've learned over the years is from Neil and Lisa Pearson, the way you can kind of think of pain is as an alarm system. It's trying to get you to change what you're doing. So to stop, to mitigate, maybe even stop moving, things along that line. So depending on the client I'm working with and their mobility, what they've been doing, activity-wise, I don't ever tell somebody unless their doctor specifically said to stop moving. A lot of times what feeds chronic pain is we stop moving because we're in pain. So unless there's actual damage that's happened in the sense of it's not healed. So say you had a slip disc, it's been healed, it's being supported, and it's in a better place, but you're still having pain. That's when a lot of times I come in and help with, we're trying to retrain the brain and the systems to give you better feedback and information. Does that kind of make sense, Anna?
Yes, of course. I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it's one of those things, that's kind of the watered down version of what I would do with the individual client when I work with them. But like I was saying, really, I meet with them and meet that person. And part of how I can give support to them and help them build protocol plans for themselves or at home is by learning their day-to-day activities, what's your stressors, all these things factor into what's happening with your chronic pain. It's not just usually one simple thing like, oh, well, I haven't gone on a walk today. Sometimes it's like it can be a variety of things. So that's where we come into support.
No, yes, I definitely understand what you're saying. I do appreciate your help and your advice as well.
Of course.
Okay.
Well, if you have any
go
other
ahead.
questions, Anna, please let us know, but I appreciate your call.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. And have a great day. And since we're halfway through, tell us how she or anyone else could reach us, or you, I should say in particular.
You could reach me anytime at malachiteyoga.com. That's MALACHITE yoga.com. My name is Blair, and you can always find me on there. You'll find my email on there and other contact info. So reach out anytime. I'm always happy to do 15-minute consultations with people just to get to know them and see if yoga therapy might be a good fit. Another thing to note is, unlike a lot of other therapy programs, a lot of times, right, we just jump into a session. With yoga therapy, we always have an intake session, which is much more extensive than our normal sessions will be. Okay. And so I prep people for that because you're going to get a lot of paperwork that I'm going to ask you to fill out quite thoroughly. So that helps me get a picture into your life that then I spend at least 24 hours with before we meet, researching, reviewing, having a better understanding of you, your stressors, things that make you happy, like the gamut of you. It doesn't all have to be put in that, but I do ask for a lot. So I tell people, expect to show up to the first session. You don't usually leave with a practice, but what it does is us getting to know each other and me getting to learn kind of like, how can I set up a programming that'll best work for you?
Got it. All right. Thank you so much. And again, anyone else have any questions? 631-307-4010, 631-307-4010. What else is on tap for us, Miss Douglas?
I really appreciate Anna calling in too. And that's something I hear a lot from even just talking in the general public, right? When I'm out and I'm discussing stuff, is they've been diagnosed with something, which is could completely have happened. And by no means am I saying this is not a correct diagnosis. Like somebody could have a slip disc or say they had a knee replacement. Those are all things that have happened. So it's learning, when did that happen? When have you been diagnosed with it? What happened afterwards in the sense of healing and support? And how long has it been since that's happened? Because there's a space where we're in acute pain where things haven't healed. So let's say I had a knee replacement last week. I am in acute pain. It is not healed yet. And so that's where there's a difference. We want to get a lot of my clients, sometimes they have new injuries come up and we still keep working on stuff because we're trying to get their system to regulate better, to give them better information. But a big teaching point is me teaching people that having pain does not indicate tissue damage. It's an alarm system. It's trying to tell us to stop before it thinks there'll be tissue damage. And sometimes what happens is our alarm system fires up too soon. And so we stop ahead of what we could actually be doing.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. 631-307-4010. I feel like I'm playing the lottery or like, or like, give us a call. Any question. Doesn't have to be about, it could be anything.
Really anything about yoga therapy too. Because like I said, it's one of those industries, it's actually been around quite a while and it's being recognized much more. We are fully regulated by we're overseen, and it's not by the US government. It is by our own governing body, but we still have to take tests and we still have to have continuing education. And part of the good part for us, not technically being overseen by the government specifically, but very much being overseen by our own people, is that I have the opportunity to actually work with clients outside of the state I live in, which a lot of other psychotherapists or chiropractors and stuff, you have to be registered in that state, which makes it much more challenging if you're moving around. So for me, it's nice because I can work with people in Canada, throughout the US, other regions of the world where I would have some blockage if I didn't have that opportunity. So really, it's a newer industry to a lot of people, but we're here and we're fully being supported. And a lot of people are starting to move into healthcare. So jobs have been started being supplied to yoga therapists specifically to join healthcare teams in hospitals, doctors' offices, different communities. So it's something that I think is coming on the map. It's just been very quietly there.
And does insurance cover some of this work? I mean, are there healthcare systems that are finally understanding the need of, or has it still been a struggle?
It's been a very big struggle. It matters if I was working, let's say with UC Health or Kaiser or some other health facility, I probably would be housed under that because they would name me as something else. It would be like I'm not a physical therapist, but they'd have me under some other name specifically, or just in their therapeutic programming. And then, yes, it would be covered. Working with us individually right now, it's still, as of what I know of today, and that is not to say in 2 weeks this couldn't change, I don't know of any healthcare companies covering it. But what I will say, one of the things I love about yoga therapy is our goal is to get you support that then you can keep using without us. So the plan is, instead of you having to spend astronomical dollars to keep us on for years and years, like a lot of my clients, unless they're long-term clients that I know I'm going to see for the rest of their lives based on age or some kind of neurological disorder like Alzheimer's, dementia, stuff like that, I typically, anywhere from the range of 6 sessions to 12 sessions is usually what I give people. And we have a plan kind of out for them. And then they have those videos of us that they can use the rest of their lives. This is meant to be sustainable, where somebody actually feels like they have an opportunity to keep supporting themselves even without me there. And that's what's the kind of great part. And of course, too, like if financial stuff comes into play there, I know there's therapists too that sometimes can help out with that, or have programming where they have group sessions that people can step into.
Thank you so much. And that's what I was going to say about for you. You work mostly one-on-one, or do you offer group sessions as well?
I do mostly one-on-one, and the only reason that's been is just as my clientele's picked up, that's really what they've wanted. If I had a few people that asked to just do weekly classes as well, which I do think would be beneficial, and I do offer like sending people pre-recorded videos, I'd be happy to do that too, because I do think there's a need out there, specifically with the languaging. So part of like my background, especially with the pain care stuff, is in languaging, and how I teach a class is different than how what you'd hear probably in any other regulated class, like if you just showed up to a normal vinyasa class or movement-based class.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thank you so much. And we still have
Yeah.
6 minutes left today. What else did you want to focus on? And don't forget, ladies and gents, lines are open. It's 631-307-4010, 631-307-4010 if you have any more questions.
Yeah. I think, it's one of those things I say for myself too. I've really enjoyed being a yoga therapist. Like it's something I'm quite passionate about. I'm passionate about yoga, right? Like I thoroughly enjoyed yoga. And then once you spend years and years and years and the amount of hours I spent studying it and understanding it, and then seeing like, okay, I have the information. My clients don't need to know the 10, 12 plus years of knowledge that I've learned, but they know that I have that information to help find them what key points we can use to support them. And mattering in the person and who they are, it doesn't matter if you come from a religious background or not. It doesn't matter if you come from a movement background or not. It doesn't really, like, you're a whole person to me when you show up.
Yeah.
I'm there for you to serve you no matter who you are and your background. And so the great part for me is it's like a blank slate showing up. And so then I get to start to learn the information, right? And they get to start to learn about themselves again. Because a lot of what I'm helping teach to them is them reintegrating with themselves and re-remembering how they want to feel or how they want to move. And that can come out in a plethora of ways. Like I have clients that all we do is go on a walk and we just talk, and that's what they need. And I just treat it as I show up as yoga because that's what's serving them the best that day. And that's okay with me.
Yeah.
I might not have needed 10, 12 years of knowledge to do that, you would think, but like really that background though helps me then stand in place with them and be there and be present.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful for that.
All right. And in our last few minutes together, what else did you want to share?
Anybody that has curiosity, I always say, feel free to reach out to me, or like I was mentioning before, you can always research yoga therapy and look through the International Society of Yoga Therapists to find one that's maybe in your region or correctly fits your needs. Just because I specialize in chronic pain, neurological disorders, or functional mobility issues, there's people, like I mentioned before, that are out that are serving people with depression, eating disorders, cancer. There's somebody that specializes in all of that can support you if that's what you need at this time. And so I always suggest people spend some time, do a little research, but you, of course, can contact me anytime at malachiteyoga.com. I'm always happy to do 15-minute free consultations with people. So anytime that comes up, let me know. Think about yoga therapy, Google it, see what you find. Hopefully it's all mostly interesting and just some new information. There's also tons of free resources of classes, recordings of meditations by yoga therapists, things along that line.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And by the way, what states are you able to work in or
I
countries?
can work in any state, and I can work in any country currently. We're still overseen by the governing body of the International Yoga Therapy Society, but that allows me to work in any state. I typically usually work 95% of my clients are all virtual, but if you're in the state of Colorado or in the Denver region or in the Tucson area in Arizona and you want to meet in person, I usually am accommodating for that as well.
All right. Perfect. Thank you so much. And thank you again for our caller, and looking forward to the next time we get to connect. Thanks again, Blair. Have a great day. And to all of our listeners and viewers, we'll be back. Have a great week and happy almost fall. We got 10 more days for that or so. Yeah. Can't wait. Have a good day, sweetheart. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, my name is Blair Douglas, and I'm a certified human. Just kidding. I'm actually a certified yoga therapist, specializing in chronic pain, neurological disorders, and functional mobility. If you're somebody living with one or all of these things and looking for support in your life, contact me anytime at malachiteyoga.com. That's MALACHITE yoga.com. I look forward to hearing your story.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.